Heracles. Heracles, known to the Romans as Hercules, is one of the most iconic heroes in Greek mythology. He was the son of Zeus and Alcmene, a mortal woman, making him a demigod with immense strength and courage. Hera, Zeus's wife, despised Heracles and sent him into a madness that caused him to kill his own family. As punishment and redemption, he was tasked with completing 12 impossible labors, including slaying the Hydra and capturing Cerberus. Each labor tested his endurance, cleverness, and brute power, gradually turning him into a symbol of heroic perseverance. Though often tormented by fate and gods, Heracles kept pushing forward, earning fame across the ancient world. In the end, his mortal body was burned away, and he was granted immortality, joining the gods on Mount Olympus. Perseus, son of Zeus and Danae, began life hidden in a wooden chest cast into the sea. After surviving, he was raised on an island and later sent on a deadly mission to kill Medusa, a gorgon whose gaze turned people to stone. With help from the gods, Hermes gave him a sword and Athena a polished shield. Perseus succeeded by looking only at Medusa's reflection. On his return, he rescued the princess Andromeda from a sea monster and turned his enemies to stone using Medusa's head. Perseus represents the perfect mix of divine favor and human bravery. His adventures established him as a founder hero, credited with creating the city of Mycenae and inspiring many later myths. Unlike many tragic heroes, Perseus lived a long life and died peacefully. Theseus was the son of either King Aegeus or Poseidon and Aethra, making him a prince with divine blood. He's best known for entering the labyrinth on Crete and slaying the Minotaur, a half-man, half-bull monster kept in a maze. With help from Ariadne's thread, he found his way back out, securing his place as a hero. But Theseus's life was filled with both glory and sorrow. He united the scattered cities of Attica into Athens and is credited with helping shape its democracy. However, his personal life was troubled. He abandoned Ariadne and accidentally caused his father's death by forgetting to change his ship's sails. Theseus is remembered as a clever, bold, and deeply human hero, flawed but essential to the mythic history of Athens. Achilles, the son of the sea goddess Thetis and the mortal Peleus, was destined to be the greatest warrior of his age. To protect him, his mother dipped him in the river Styx, making him invulnerable except for his heel, which remained untouched. During the Trojan War, Achilles became the Greeks' most fearsome fighter, defeating Hector and many others. But he was also prideful and emotionally volatile, traits that caused immense suffering. His grief-driven rage over the death of his friend Patroclus led to his return to battle, where he exacted brutal vengeance. Achilles was eventually killed by an arrow to his heel, fulfilling his fatal prophecy. His legend endures as a story of glory, rage, and the thin line between godlike power and human vulnerability. Aeneas, born of the goddess Aphrodite and the mortal Anchises, was a Trojan prince and one of the few survivors of Troy's destruction. Unlike most Greek heroes, Aeneas's story doesn't end in war. It begins a journey. Guided by fate, he led a band of refugees on a perilous voyage across the Mediterranean, eventually reaching Italy. Along the way, he visited the underworld, encountered monsters, and endured personal loss, all while staying devoted to his divine mission. In Roman mythology, Aeneas is revered as the ancestor of Romulus and Remus, and thus the founder of Rome itself. His tale, told in Virgil's Aeneid, celebrates piety, perseverance, and the belief that destiny must be fulfilled, even at great personal cost. Helen of Troy. Helen, said to be the daughter of Zeus and Leda, was famed for her divine beauty, so much so that her face was said to have launched 1,000 ships. Though married to Menelaus of Sparta, she was taken, or seduced, by Paris of Troy, triggering the Trojan War. For 10 years, armies clashed over Helen, though her own role in the war remains mysterious. Some accounts claim she went willingly. Others say she was a pawn of the gods. In certain versions, a phantom replaced her in Troy while she waited in Egypt. Regardless, Helen became a symbol of beauty's power to stir desire, conflict, and chaos. Orpheus. Orpheus, often called the son of Apollo or the muse Calliope, was a legendary musician whose songs could charm animals, trees, and even stones. His most famous story begins with tragedy. His wife Eurydice died shortly after their wedding. Determined to bring her back, Orpheus journeyed to the underworld and played such sorrowful music that even Hades was moved. He was allowed to take Eurydice back on one condition. He couldn't look at her until they reached the surface. He looked too soon, and she vanished forever. Orpheus later rejected all love and was torn apart by Maenads. Atalanta. Atalanta was a fierce and swift-footed huntress, often said to be the daughter of a king and raised by bears after being abandoned at birth. In some versions, she had divine parentage from Artemis or another god. She vowed never to marry unless bested in a foot race. Losers would die. Many tried and all failed, until Hippomenes used golden apples from Aphrodite to distract her and win. Their story ends tragically. Forgetting to thank the goddess, they were transformed into lions. Atalanta also joined the Argonauts and helped slay the Caledonian boar, proving herself among the greatest heroes. Castor and Pollux. Castor and Pollux, known as the Dioscuri, were twin brothers born to Leda. Castor was mortal, the son of Tyndareus, while Pollux was immortal, the son of Zeus. They were famed for their brotherly bond and shared adventures, including the quest for the Golden Fleece. When Castor was killed, Pollux begged Zeus to let them share immortality. They were placed in the sky as the constellation Gemini, representing unity and sacrifice. Sailors worshipped them as protectors at sea, often invoking them during storms. Bellerophon. Bellerophon was a prince of Corinth and possibly a son of Poseidon. After being exiled for a crime, he sought redemption by completing dangerous tasks, the most famous being the slaying of the Chimera, a fire-breathing monster with the body of a lion, goat, and serpent. Riding the winged horse Pegasus, Bellerophon defeated it by dropping a block of lead into its throat. His successes earned him fame, but pride led him to try and fly to Mount Olympus itself. Zeus struck him down, and he lived the rest of his life wandering alone. Bellerophon's story warns of the dangers of hubris and the limits even heroes must respect. Asclepius. Asclepius was the son of Apollo and a mortal woman, Coronis, who died before his birth. Raised by the centaur Chiron, he became a legendary healer. He grew so skilled that he could bring the dead back to life, something that angered Hades and disrupted the balance of nature. Zeus killed him with a thunderbolt, but later restored him as a god. Asclepius became the god of medicine, and his staff, entwined with a serpent, remains a symbol of healing today, and his legacy lives on in modern medicine. Arcas. Arcas was the son of Zeus and the nymph Callisto, a follower of Artemis. When Callisto was turned into a bear by Hera, Arcas nearly killed her while hunting, unaware of her identity. To prevent the tragedy, Zeus transformed both into constellations, Ursa Major and Ursa Minor. Arcas also became a wise king and is considered the ancestor of the Arcadians. Through the stars, Arcas's tale remains visible in the night sky as cosmic legacy. Amphion and Zethus. Amphion and Zethus were twin sons of Zeus and Antiope, raised in the wild. When they returned to Thebes, they avenged their mother and became rulers. Together, they built the city's walls, Zethus with brute strength, Amphion using music to move the stones. Their partnership symbolizes harmony between force and art. However, their rule ended in sorrow, as both faced personal losses tied to pride and divine punishment. They embody duality in myth, the blend of power and creativity, instinct and intellect. Phaeton. Phaeton was the son of the sun god Helios, though many didn't believe his claim. To prove it, he asked to drive the sun chariot across the sky. Helios reluctantly agreed, but Phaeton lost control, scorching the earth and creating deserts. To save the world, Zeus struck him down with a thunderbolt, and his body fell into a river. His grieving sisters became poplar trees, shedding amber tears. Phaeton's myth is a dramatic lesson on pride, recklessness, and the consequences of seeking glory beyond one's limits. Tantalus. Tantalus, a son of Zeus and a nymph, was once favored by the gods and allowed to dine with them on Mount Olympus, but he betrayed their trust, either by stealing ambrosia or serving them his own son, Pelops, in a horrific test of their omniscience. As punishment, he was condemned to eternal torment in the underworld. He stood in a pool of water beneath fruit-laden branches, yet whenever he reached for either, they slipped out of reach. This myth gave us the word tantalize, meaning to torment with unreachable desires. Tantalus's tale is a grim warning about divine boundaries and the cost of hubris and betrayal. Penthesilea. Penthesilea was a warrior queen of the Amazons and a daughter of Ares, the god of war. She fought in the Trojan War on the side of the Trojans and faced Achilles in single combat. Though she fought valiantly, Achilles struck her down, but when he removed her helmet and saw her face, he was overcome with regret and admiration, possibly even love. Her death added a tragic layer to the war, blending the glory of battle with the sorrow of lost potential. Penthesilea represents the fierce independence of the Amazons and the human cost of heroic conflict. Memnon. Memnon, the son of Eos, goddess of the dawn, and Tithonus, was a king of Ethiopia who fought for Troy. Clad in armor forged by Hephaestus, he was nearly equal to Achilles in strength and beauty. Their duel was one of the most intense moments of the Trojan War. Though Memnon was eventually slain, Zeus honored him by granting him immortality. His death caused Eos to weep each morning, giving rise to the morning dew. Memnon's story reflects heroism beyond Greece, showing that divine favor and greatness could come from anywhere. Autolycus. Autolycus, a son of Hermes, was a master of theft, disguise, and trickery. He could steal anything, even herds of animals, by changing their appearance so no one would recognize them. His magical skills made him nearly untouchable, and he prided himself on leaving no trace. Autolycus is also the grandfather of Odysseus, from whom his grandson inherited cunning and cleverness. His legend celebrates intelligence over brute strength and is a reminder that not all Greek heroes fought with swords. Some won with wit. Iphigenia. Iphigenia was the daughter of Agamemnon and Clytemnestra, and possibly the child of the goddess Artemis, depending on the version. When the Greek fleet was trapped by calm winds, a prophet declared that Artemis demanded Iphigenia's sacrifice. At the last moment, the goddess replaced her with a deer and transported her to Taurus to serve as a priestess. Her story varies. Some versions say she was later rescued by her brother Orestes. Melanion. Melanion, sometimes considered a son of Hermes or Poseidon, fell in love with the fierce huntress Atalanta. Knowing he couldn't outrun her in a fair race, he prayed to Aphrodite for help. She gave him 3 golden apples, which he used to distract Atalanta during the race. He won and they married, but forgot to thank the goddess. As punishment, they were turned into lions and yoked to a chariot. Linus. Linus was the son of Apollo and either a muse or a mortal woman, and was known for his musical talent. He taught music to famous figures like Orpheus and even Heracles, but Heracles, in a fit of rage or pride, killed Linus during a lesson. Linus's death was deeply mourned, and his name was given to dirges sung in grief. He symbolizes the fragility of beauty and genius in a world often ruled by strength and violence. Cycnus. Cycnus, often considered a son of Ares, was a warrior known for his cruelty and strength. He challenged anyone who passed him to duels and used their skulls to build a temple to his father. Eventually, he was confronted and slain by Achilles. After his death, he was transformed into a swan. His name literally means swan in Greek. His myth blends brutality and beauty, showing how even violent men can become eternal symbols of grace. Hippolytus. Hippolytus, the son of Theseus and either an Amazon or a mortal queen, was a devoted follower of Artemis and sworn to chastity. This angered Aphrodite, who caused his stepmother Phaedra to fall in love with him. When he rejected her, she accused him falsely, leading to his death by chariot accident. Artemis later revealed the truth and had him honored. Hippolytus's tale explores themes of purity, false accusation, and the rivalry between divine powers over mortal lives. Actaeon. Actaeon, sometimes considered a demigod through divine descent, was a skilled hunter and student of Charon. His fate was sealed when he stumbled upon Artemis bathing in the woods. As punishment for seeing the virgin goddess naked, she turned him into a stag. His own hunting dogs, no longer recognizing him, tore him apart. I'll be making more videos like this soon. Subscribe to see them.